All right, we are back, and I got a good one here for you, the Asus Zenbook 14 here for 2025. And this is one I picked up from Best Buy. You can see it's a pretty thin and light one. I think this might be an exclusive to Best Buy, this particular SKU, but they do have, depending on your region, specific features that certain ones have that others don't have. But the bottom line is, these are some really good bang for the buck. At least now, we can say sort of bang for the buck because everything is high in terms of price. But as far as this one is concerned, this one comes in at $1,099 or $1,100 at Best Buy. I purchased this one with my own money. I plan to use this as a little bit of a test here to see if this is a good travel laptop. And so far, this has been passing with flying colors. Now, a couple of things to note, they offer this with a 2.8K OLED display. The one I have here is a Full HD Plus OLED display, which is 1920 by 1200. That 3K or 2.8K one they offer will have the 120 hertz refresh rate. This will have a 60 hertz refresh rate. Now, this comes in the color called Jasper Gray, and so far, very good. Now, as far as the processor, now this is not running Lunar Lake. This actually has a more powerful processor, the Intel Arrow Lake H. Of course, this is the Core Ultra 7 255H as I'm booting up here right now. You probably heard the chime. And this one has pretty good performance, actually really good performance. So if you're considering something like the MacBook Air with the M4, this has some advantages over that. Now, the first advantage, of course, this being a touchscreen display. Not only is it a touchscreen display, but it also has pen support. Now, yes, it is 60 hertz, but so is the MacBook Air. And again, there are variants of this that have the higher res, higher refresh rate of 3K displays, right? So that is great to have. And that's a big leg up, I think, over the MacBook Air. No unsightly notch or anything like that. It has a 1080p IR webcam, something the MacBook Air doesn't have. You have to use the Touch ID. This one has an actual face recognition camera. Glass touchpad, great keyboard here, multi-stage backlight, no haptic touchpad, but the touchpad is worked out really well. Metal design here, thin and light. This is pretty much everything you'd want. In fact, actually really good battery life. I saw over 22 hours on my video playback test, PC Mark 10, and I'm seeing about 12, 13 hours of mixed use modern office test. So overall, very good. Now, of course, Lunar Lake will not give you quite as good performance, but will have even better battery life. But of course, Arrow Lake H, this is a nice blend between the two. So this is making it a really intriguing choice. And we'll find out here today why I think this is an excellent choice here as we're in May 2025. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED here for 2025. Coming up. Okay, let's get a measurement of the weight with just the unit alone. We're looking at 1.288 kilograms or 1.287 kilograms, and that is 2 pounds, 13.4 ounces. If we add in the power charger at 65 watts, USB Type-C, 3 pounds, 5.1 ounces, and that is in grams or kilograms, 1.505 kilograms or 1,505 grams. So total travel weight, not too bad. All right, let's check out the port selection. On the left side, a USB Type-A port. On the right side is an HDMI, should be 2.1, probably TMDS, I'll check that out. And then we get two USB Type-C ports, and they both have the lightning bolt there, so they should be 4.0, so Thunderbolt 4, and that is it. So would like to see those split up, but nice to see two Thunderbolt 4 ports. Now, we're gonna start off with the design and build here. It's got a military it's got a military standard A10H rating, so that means you can take a licking and keep on ticking with this. Not too much give or flex in the chassis, although there's a little bit of flex there, but that's normal on this thin and light laptops. The display goes back 180 degrees, so you get a really good viewing angle. Minimal screen wobble, maybe a little bit, but nothing to be concerned about when typing. As far as the weight, not too heavy here, obviously thin and light. It's a pretty thin device, as you can see, so pretty good to take with you on the go. And it comes with a 65 watt power charger, USB Type-C. You could throw that in your bag. Not too bad, not too bulky. Now, as far as the display, let's talk about that right here. as I log in with this IR camera. Again, like I said, 1920 by 1200, full HD plus, OLED. That means you're going to get the deep blacks, the super vibrant colors, the really high contrast. It is a glossy display, so just keep that in mind. You will notice some glare and reflections. I have a lot of lights here, so definitely noticing it here. But it's going to give you a great viewing experience. It's HDR. Watching high dynamic range content in Netflix, Amazon, YouTube has been great. 400 nits standard dynamic range is what I got on here. 500 nits or so in peak brightness with HDR. So that's there if you need it. As far as the touchscreen, like I said, it does have touch support. It also has pen support. So if you want to sketch out artwork, diagrams, take some notes here and there, it's a nice convenience factor. Again, it's not a convertible, so just keep that in mind. But having that extra features is certainly a value add. These are things you don't get with a MacBook Air. That being said, of course, again, a very glossy display, as I mentioned, so if that's going to be a problem. Also, PWM I noticed on here, which is common with the OLED technology. And also, screen burn-in might be an issue down the road if you leave a static image long enough. Again, these are not really subject to that really all that much because they do have some excellent OLED care baked into the settings and the software that they do employ here to make sure there or they minimize screen burn-in potential here. Now, as far as the keyboard, this is a really good keyboard, about 1.5 millimeters of key travel. It's good for typing out documents, emails, and the like. And it also has a pretty nice touchpad here, scrolling, gestures, everything works very well. It's a glass touchpad. As I mentioned, it's not a haptic touchpad, worked out very well. Now, as far as performance here, again, Core Ultra 7 255H, which of course is Intel Arrow Lake H, which is going to have better performance than I would say the Lunar Lake that we saw. But of course, won't be as efficient, although I've been very impressed with the battery life, as we'll get to in a moment. And I did earlier allude to that in the intro. But as far as the overall performance, single multi-core is excellent. It's on par with a lot of the top end of the ultra portables here. So that's been very good. As far as Lunar Lake, you're going to do less on single core, multi-core. You'll do better here with this Arrow Lake H. So that's the benefit in terms of performance with this. Now, as far as thermals are concerned, you are really doing well here. Although I noticed a hot spot on the bottom, about 55, 56 degrees on the underside. Keyboard remained relatively cool. No issues in terms of where you place your fingers on the keyboard. That's worked out very well. And as far as fan noise, if you're in the full performance mode, it will ramp up in terms of the fan noise, but the balance mode or the standard mode, whatever they're calling it, in the Asus app or the My Asus app, you can really lower it down, even down to the whisper mode where it's very, very quiet. Now, as far as thermal throttling, I didn't notice any here. In fact, it passed the score, or passed the test, I should say, on my thermal throttling test that I ran, the Temps by stress test. So that did really well. Now let's talk about graphics here, which I want to emphasize here is the Intel Arc 140T. We've seen it before. It's a very good implementation of an integrated graphics solution. We saw good Time Spy, good Firestrike, and good Wildlife Extreme scores here. Very good. And when it comes to gaming, you certainly can game on it. You just got to lower some of the settings and you will get to playable frame rate. So that's been pretty good as well. Again, the occasional game here and there. It's not meant to be a gaming laptop, but it's certainly impressive in terms of what it can do as far as an integrated solution. Now, video editing, 1080p, not a problem here. I would say 4K, limited to very simple 4K. Don't get too complicated with the graphics and all that, but I think you'll be okay. If you want something more advanced, I would go with something with a discrete GPU. But as far as graphics are concerned, the Intel Arc 140T are impressive. Now let's talk battery life here. Now I believe this has about a 75 watt hour battery, and I got over 12 hours on the PC Mark 10 Modern Office test. So mixed use, which is what that is, you're looking at anywhere from, I guess, 10, 11, 12 hours, maybe 13 hours, depending on what you're doing. So again, everybody's use case is a little bit different. I got over 22 hours on the video playback, so very impressive. Now, one of the things I'm seeing here is because it is a full HD plus display, 60 Hertz, not the high refresh rate, you are going to do better on battery life. So if you go with the 3K or 2.8K OLED 120 hertz display that this is offered in, you will do less battery life. So just keep that in mind. OLED tends to use more power, so that is something you need to keep in mind when considering this. But very good battery life overall, especially for an Intel Arrow Lake processor here for 2025. Now they do supply you with a pretty compact 65 watt USB Type-C charger, and that doesn't add too much weight to the overall travel package. So overall, pretty good overall in terms of battery and charging. It also does support fast charging as well. Now it does have a 1080p IR webcam. I thought the actual image quality was very good and the audio is very good. So you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now let's give it a look and a listen. So we have a full HD camera here. It is IR. That means you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. There is a shutter switch above the camera to give you more security and privacy. Those are the things we want to see definitely on an ultra portable laptop or laptops in general. Now it does have the studio effects employed here. You got the auto framing, the background blur. This is the standard blur, and this is the portrait blur. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. I think overall, a very good camera. Now we're talking about stereo speakers here, and they're Harman Kardon tuned, and it has Dolby Atmos. That means you're going to get really good spatial audio, and I thought the overall sound volume was very good. It was actually pretty powerful for stereo speakers. And again, having the Dolby Atmos, you can play around with the different settings. I put it on the dynamic, but some people like music, but some people like on the different settings. You can play around with it. It's purely subjective. But of course, let's give it a listen and you let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, let's talk pricing here. And we're looking at $1,100 at Best Buy for this particular SKU that comes in this Jasper Gray, 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. And by the way, the storage is upgradable. That's the only thing that's upgradable. You're also getting 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM running in dual channel mode. So that is going to be perfectly fine for most people. If you need 32, there might be SKUs that they offer in the different regions. It just depends on your region, I think. So you just have to search around for that. But I think for the most part, 16 gigabytes is going to be more than enough for 95% of you out there. So that's going to be perfectly fine in this category, thin and light category. And $1099, I'd like to see it under 1,000. And at some point, I'm expecting sales. Always check the link in the description below for the latest pricing. But at $1099, I think you're getting a pretty nice OLED display here. You're getting pretty good build quality as well. Now, let's also talk about whether this can run Linux. And the good news is it can. I was able to run Ubuntu Linux and it worked very well. Let's give it a look as far as Ubuntu Linux is concerned. And as you can see, Ubuntu's working. I have the touchscreen working here. Everything looking good so far. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth working. And the camera, let's see if the camera's working here. Yep, the camera is working, as you can see there. So that is good to see. And then, of course, Firefox is here. Everything seems to be working so far. So that is Ubuntu Linux. So far, so good. And touchscreen working. Looks like we have a winner here as far as Linux is concerned. Now, as far as user upgradability, the only thing that's upgradable is the SSD and potentially the battery, I guess. But the SSD had some pretty good reads and writes. As you can see there, it's PCIe Gen 4, and it is an M.2 2280 PCIe SSD. So pretty good in terms of the reads and writes. And of course, that's 512 gigabytes on this model. But of course, you can upgrade it yourself, which is always welcome. Now, the RAM, of course, is integrated or soldered into the motherboard, and it's not upgradable by the user. user. So this comes with 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM, and it is running in dual channel mode. Wi-Fi 7 is here and Bluetooth 5.4. That is soldered into the motherboard, but the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth both working flawlessly, no issues with either one. So overall, what do I think about the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED here? Of course, the Full HD version that I have here, that SKU available at Best Buy, link in the description below. I really like it. Intel Arrow Lake H with the good single and multi-core performance here is on par, if not better in some ways, I think, than the MacBook Air, although that'll have better single core. But the features here are more rich than the ones on the MacBook Air. You're getting a touchscreen display, a better display in my opinion. You're also getting the option for a 2.8K OLED 120 Hertz, although you'll do less battery life than this one. Of course, this is 60 Hertz Full HD, still OLED, of course, something you can't get on the MacBook Air. And I'm a big fan of OLED. Of course, it does have its downsides, as we mentioned, with the screen burn-in and PWM. But for the most part, I think OLED is the superior display. And it also has pen support, which is kind of nice to have considering you're not normally seeing it in this price point. And this is not a convertible, but having that is just another little thing that they add in there that just adds more value. I mean, even if you don't use it, it's there if you need it. Keyboard's great on this. The touchpad's great. And I think the battery life is very good for what it is. And of course, the improved performance over something like Lunar Lake. This is not adding too much bulk or weight. I think this is a winner here, and I highly recommend it here for 2025. But of course, I want to know what you think in the comments section below. Very good job here by Asus. I spent my own money on this, and so far, I am really, really liking it. It's got a nice metal design, very nice build, and a very nice overall package. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Now, if you're a casual viewer of my content, why not hit that subscribe button? We're making our push for 250,000. We're already at almost, or we're probably at, by the time you're seeing this, 222,000, which I can't believe. It's been mind-blowing about the amount of growth we've had here so far in 2025. It's just skyrocketing, and it's getting better, better, and better. So I do appreciate the support, and I look forward to bringing you even more content, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you want to pick up a device like this, make sure you use the links in the description below. Yes, they are affiliate links, and no, I don't get a huge commission, and maybe very small commission helps support the channel, and I do appreciate it. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.